Love ROMs and Love Retro owners avoid trial by agreeing to pay Nintendo over $12 million. Following the Arizona-based filing, owners Jacob and Christian Mathias pulled content from the sites, hoping to avoid a lengthy legal battle with the Japanese corporation. With Nintendo not backing down, the married couple admitted their copyright and trademark infringement, agreeing to a consent judgment and a permanent injunction. Plaintiff is hereby awarded judgment against all defendants, jointly and severally, in the amount of $12,230,000, reads the final judgment agreed upon by both parties via Torrent Freak. Of course, the publication speculates that the high figure is a little more than a public ruling to act as a deterrent, with a more manageable sum potentially agreed upon behind closed doors. The real punishment sees the Nintendo sees all games, files, and emulators once housed within both sites, and prohibits both owners from using, sharing, or distributing Nintendo ROMs in the future. Both the LoveROMs.com and LoveRetro.co domains will cease operation and also be handed over to Nintendo. The lawsuit had a rippling effect within the ROM world, seeing many sites close down out of fear that the video game maker will come after them next. The seized ROMs could also potentially come in handy for the publisher, who has previously used such ROMs in its emulation efforts. Nintendo. You know, your little crusade against all these ROM sites is laughable. Absolutely fucking laughable. And I know why they're doing this too, or at the very least, I'm pretty goddamn sure I know why they're doing this. It's because they want people to pay for their shitty online service on the Switch, or buy NES Classics, SNES Classics that only have fucking 25 to 30 games on them, and that's it. You don't get any more unless you hack into your NES and SNES Classics. You know, Nintendo wants you to shill out money to them, pay for their online services where you can get, these NES games, 20 NES games, and occasionally will trickle out a few more NES games for you to play. Isn't that awesome? No, Nintendo, it's not awesome. This is why people turn over to ROM sites, because what you are offering absolutely fucking sucks. It is, you offer tiny libraries from these old consoles, and people want to play games that you are not offering. People want to play the more obscure games that you're probably never going to offer, and will go over to these sites and play the games they want to play on these sites because you are not offering people these games. You are not offering a vast library from these old consoles, the NES, the SNES, and you're completely neglecting the N64, the GameCube with your online service. To be completely honest, Nintendo's little gaming streaming service that they're offering with the Nintendo Switch's online service sounds fucking genius on paper. Pay $20 a year and this little Netflix-esque gaming streaming service thingy is included, and you can get games from multiple systems, and on a monthly basis you get new games from these old systems onto your service, and you can play them at any time. That honestly, if Nintendo went about this the right way, I would much prefer this over Virtual Console any day of the fucking week. But the way Nintendo's going about this is just completely ass backwards. Why is it just limited to NES games, and you just trickle out a few NES games every month? And for the most part, people don't even fucking care about these games, because either they're games that people don't give a shit about, like golf or soccer or shit like that, or the games you're giving us are just games we played a million times because you've offered us these games on a million other services, the Virtual Console, the 3DS Ambassador system, on a lot of fucking platforms before, and we have played these games a million times. And plus, Nintendo, why the fuck do you put the NES on such a fucking pedestal when, let's be honest here, it wasn't even your fucking best system? The SNES had a way fucking better, stellar lineup of games, had a lot more solid third-party games on it, and let's be honest, a huge chunk of the NES's library fucking sucks, and that's why Nintendo hasn't put more than 10% of the NES's library onto services such as the Virtual Console and the service they're offering now. This is why people go over to ROM sites, because you are not giving them what they want. They want games from more systems that are not the NES, and they want to play SNES games. They want to play N64 games. They want to play GameCube games. They want to play Wii games. And you're not fucking giving this. You're not giving this to them, so they will go over to ROM sites. You shutting down ROM sites solves absolutely fucking nothing. More ROM sites will appear eventually. People will find other ways to play ROMs, and they will go over there instead of subscribing to your shitty online service, because you are not offering a good service at all. So instead of going around and shutting down every single ROM site you come across, do this instead. Stop and think to yourselves, why would people rather go over to ROM sites and play our old games from our old systems on emulators instead of subscribing to our online service, which only allows you to play NES games, and a service where we only trickle out a few NES games each month? I wonder why people would rather go over to ROM sites. Oh wait, maybe it's because what we're offering is fucking garbage, and people would rather go over to ROM sites and play games on emulators instead of subscribing to our online service and play these games in a legal and legit way. Maybe if we vastly improve what we're offering, maybe, just maybe, more people will be compelled to pay for our online service and play these games in a legal and legit way. My mind is fucking blown. This means we can get more money from people. Holy shit. It's a simple solution, Nintendo, and I don't know why this is just so fucking hard for you. I mean, honestly, are you bleeding money because people choose to play some of your old games on ROMs? No. Are families being put out on the street because people choose to play some of your old games on ROMs? No. But I do know who will probably end up on the streets, though. This couple who has to pay you over $12 million fucking dollars in damages. How low can you fucking go, Nintendo? Jesus. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.